Let's be honest. As Americans, our daily news is usually pretty stressful. We worry about grocery inflation, the weird noise our car is making, and whether our lawn is looking worse than the neighbors. But today we're going to take a break from the stress for the ultimate ego boost. Because historically speaking, the United States is basically the popular kid in high school that everyone tried to sit next to. You probably know about Texas or Hawaii joining the club. In fact, I have a video on how Hawaii ended up joining the United States. But did you know that throughout history, entirely different countries, random islands, and even a tiny English village just a few weeks ago have looked at the US and said, hey, how can we get in on that? So grab a coffee. Today we are looking at the times the world tried to become America's 51st state. First up, let's travel back to 1869. The Dominican Republic was having a rough time. They were broke, facing threats of invasion, and their president, Buenaventura Baez, had a brilliant idea. He basically wanted to sell the entire country to the United States for $1.5 million. U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant was obsessed with this idea. He thought, perfect, we get a tropical vacation spot and a massive naval base. The treaty was signed, the Dominican people voted yes in the referendum, it was a done deal. Except the U.S. Senate blocked it. Why? Because a senator named Charles Sumner argued that the U.S. shouldn't be acquiring random Caribbean islands. So if you're wondering why you still need a passport to go to Punta Cana, blame that senator. Then you have countries that try to join America because they were absolutely terrified of someone else. Take El Salvador in 1822. The Mexican Empire was flexing its muscles and threatening to invade them. El Salvador's government panicked, held a vote, and formally petitioned the United States for statehood. They basically tried to use America as a giant human shield. But before Washington could even respond, the Mexican Empire collapsed and El Salvador quietly took the request back. Never mind, we're good. A similar thing happened in 1848 with the Republic of Yucatan, which is now part of Mexico. They were dealing with a massive indigenous uprising and literally offered full sovereignty to the United States, Britain, and Spain. Whoever showed up with an army first got the peninsula. Congress debated it, but by the time they finished arguing, the crisis had cooled down. Now you might think this is all ancient history. Nope. Fast forward to right now. As you're probably familiar, in Canada, the province of Alberta, which has tons of oil and a very independent truck-loving culture, is holding a massive independence referendum this October. And a surprisingly large chunk of them openly want to skip being the country altogether and just join the U.S. Even our new Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, called them a natural partner, quote-unquote. Imagine adding Canada's oil capital to the Union. Texas would have serious competition. But my absolute favorite happened just last month on July 4th. A tiny English village called Piddington held a vote to declare independence from the UK because they were mad about a government housing project. Their grand plan? To march down to the US Embassy in London, hand over a declaration, and become part of America. Guys, they voted on the 4th of July. That's an elite level trolling against the British government. King George is rolling in his grave. Obviously, Piddington isn't becoming a state, and Alberta has quite a few legal hurdles to jump through. But it goes to show, whenever a community around the world gets fed up with their own government, their first instinct is to look at our chaotic, beautiful, middle-class American life and think, and yeah, I want a piece of that. So next time you're stuck in traffic and looking at your property tax bill, just remember, somewhere out there, an English villager is wishing they were paying those taxes with you. What do you think? Should we have taken the Dominican Republic? Should we adopt Alberta? Let me know in the comments below. These might have just been done in laughs, or maybe nothing will come out of them. But I suspect we will be seeing more regions around the world wanting, or at least considering, to be part of the United States. And if not making petitions to troll their government, some might genuinely want to join as we move forward. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. So long.